On this week of the Seriousless podcast, we're just talking about some random stuff. Went on yesterday about a bunch of stuff, so today we're just kind of winging it. But I am Jay Young, and I'm one part of the Seriousless podcast.
And I'm Handy Andy. I'm the other half.
So I think right off the bat, we're going to talk a little bit about the PS5 because I got one and I just let Jay play a little bit of it. So it's fresh on the mind. And what do you think?
Hashtag Team Xbox PS5 straight fucking garbage. I never paid. No. It was fun. That robot game, I was never really big on PlayStation, so I could be hella wrong, but it just reminds me of Little Big Planet.
Yeah. It's definitely just like it was free, and it's definitely just trying to show off more how the controller works. And like so far, yeah, I think the controller is like the main shining thing of this console. Like the haptic feedback and the extra rumble and stuff is really cool, but the graphical increase is kind of unnoticeable. So that's kind of a letdown. But even like I've got a PC, it's more high end than what my PS5 even is right now. Like that right there. So even I already knew that the graphical increase wasn't going to be that crazy. Like it's like it you don't notice that much. It's like, yeah, like the lighting's prettier and that's basically it.
I mean, I like the PS5 kind of just because of the memes I got to share when it came out.
Yeah.
A lot of people took that the controller's actually really nice. I like it. It was really cool. The weird Little Big Planet game you gave me to play was I feel like on that it's a bit gimmicky.
Yeah.
Like it's probably not going to last long, but I'm sure plenty of other games can find a way to implement those weird movement control touchpad shit too.
Well, and also like I think the adaptive triggers are the things you feel in other games. So like where you had like that spring kind of thing in Miles Morales, when you're swinging at like the apex of like the swing, you feel like the tension a little bit more. So then you kind of like, now it's the time to like let go. But there's not much else. Like playing, like I beat Demon Souls last night and I don't think I really felt it the whole entire time I played. It's kind of just like, yeah, the rumble might be a little bit better, but in something like that Astrobot game, you feel the rumble and stuff even more too because they build it around that controller to show it off. But in Demon Souls, it's just kind of like I'm so focused on the game, I really don't care. Like it's not that big a deal to me.
I'm sure that would help in something like COD or whatever, or maybe Overwatch when you're getting shot at and you get that rumble and let you know where it's coming from. I'm sure that might help in something like that, but
well, and like I'm kind of curious to play COD because I got their 3D like headset, and apparently their 3D audio is supposed to be like a lot better with this console. Like they put a bunch into building like the sound. So I think for like a PvP game, like where you're listening to like everything that's happening around you, actually I think that would be really cool, but I haven't experienced it yet. Like the headset is pretty nice. Like even playing like Demon Souls, I almost thought sometimes it was like cheating because in a lot of like the From Software games, they'll kind of like hide people around corners and stuff, but even in this you can hear them being like like breathing and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I already know you're there. This is great.
I was gonna kill horror games then.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're gonna know stuff like way beforehand.
It doesn't matter. I'm a fucking idiot, and that would be great for it.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say about the PS5.
It's a lot smaller than everybody on the interwebs was telling me it's gonna be.
Well, especially like I have it sitting beside a original PS3 and
the chunky one.
Yeah. And compared to that, it's like almost the exact same size. It might be a little bit bigger, but with those two consoles sitting there, I have basically the whole entire history of PlayStation. So that's the only reason I have those two consoles just sitting there. because I can play 1, 2, and 3 on the one and 4 and 5 on the other. So
And then you got your PlayStation 4 right there.
yeah, because I love God of War, and it's God of War themed, and I got my statue over there, and maybe I'll have to shoot something, because last time I told you I would shoot something to show you how much of a Star Wars nerd I was. I forgot to do it.
Fucking get.
But,
you know what? I like. Is it the God of War or is it God of War?
just God of War.
Because I didn't like the first 3 games,
Mhm.
like the trilogy, the Greek trilogy, despite me liking Greek more than I like Norse. But I am
Yeah.
still a big fan of Norse. But the Norse trilogy or Norse game
Yeah.
is so much better in my opinion, and that's coming from somebody that doesn't play it too much. I've been
Yeah.
over like a couple friends' house and played it there, but that one I love.
Yeah. Like, I did not expect that out of that game. Like,
Neither did
I
I.
was told all these things of, like, before it's coming out, they're like, oh, this is going to be a completely new experience. But yeah, it blew me away. Like,
Same.
yeah, it was incredible.
But speaking on to games, well, things with shitty title remakes in the name.
Mm-hmm.
Predator,
Yes.
the franchise. They're getting a new movie after the god awful
The
Predator.
Yeah, The
I wanna say.
Predator. Yeah. Like, I hope, since this is made by, like, a horror director, it's going to be made by the guy that made, 10 Cloverfield Lane or whatever.
Dan Tracheotomy Berg.
Yeah, that they can get back to more, like, what the first one felt like. Like, even the second one still feels kind of like a, like, horror movie. So, I hope that we can get to that. Like, we just had a small earthquake now. I hope that we can still have, like, badasses in it. That was what was so cool about Predator. But you still have to have that, like, horror dread for, like, the whole entire movie. It's
Even Predators, the one where they're on the alien planet and
Yeah.
they're hunted by 3 predators.
Adrian Brody.
Yeah, that guy. That's a still relatively decent movie. It's not as
Yeah.
good as the
It's still,
First
I didn't
two.
feel like any, like, I didn't feel scared, because especially only, like, halfway through that movie, they end up just start destroying predators
yeah.
for some reason.
Yo, I was gonna bring that up, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like it's definitely better than the Predator,
Yeah.
and it still clings to the idea of super badass people being hunted and outmatched by super badass predators.
Yeah.
They kind of fall more into the over the top action towards the midway point, but
Mhm.
something like that could even work if they made it properly.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping, like, yes, even yesterday we explained how much we hate the Disney Star Wars stuff, I guess, like, at least the movies, by how much we went over that. But, like, hopefully now that Disney technically owns Fox and they own a lot of these properties, even like Alien and stuff too, that they can put a little more money behind them,
And we
they
can get Alien versus Predator for the first time ever.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can get a good Alien versus Predator for the
Alien
first time
versus
ever.
Predator for the first time ever.
Yeah, you just wipe the rest of them from your mind.
Actually, you know what? The first AVP movie, I kind of like as one of those, I guess, guilty pleasures.
Yeah.
I admit it's bad, but it's like Venom for me, where it's bad, but I love it.
Yeah,
The second one is way
bad
worse.
fun.
It makes me mad that I can't like AVP 2 because I thought the idea of the Pred Alien
Yeah.
was fucking cool. The design of it's dope as all fucking hell.
Mhm.
But the movie's so fucking dark half the time you can't even see the regular characters.
Yeah. But really, even Prometheus and stuff messed up that whole entire thing,
Oh, yeah.
because it's like, why were aliens just created because of, like, going into the Prometheans or whatever those people are called, and then so when they go into humans, why does it make sense that they, I don't know, nothing.
The only
makes sense.
reason I like Prometheus is because it proves that Jesus is white.
Yes. Yep. Love it.
I have no idea with anything about Prometheus.
Yeah.
For the most part, I don't even understand Alien Covenant, but
Yeah.
I still kind of like it. It was fun to see in theaters. I thought the Neo-Morph bursting out of the spine was just like something that looked horrifyingly painful.
Yeah.
So, it's in that AVP area for me.
Like, they keep trying to chase the, like, have a crew, have them, like, slowly get picked off kind of thing. And it just doesn't seem to be, like, they can't catch that magic again of Alien or Aliens. So, I don't know. I think maybe Ridley Scott should just kind of give it up.
I don't know. I'm
just leave us with those beautiful classics and just
I want Ryan Johnson to make me my Alien trilogy.
Oh, yeah.
I want Shane Black back as well for The Predator.
I don't remember who that is.
That's the guy that made The Predator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I could let me know when. I will happily kill myself by watching The Predator 2 times in a row and making another what do you want to call it? I don't want to call it a review because we didn't really review the film.
Well,
we just picked it apart.
I even labeled me and my brother's thing for Mandalorian as a breakdown. So I think that's what we'll call it because it's like we both like metal music, so I kind of even think it's like breakdown as like breakdowns, and then also as like breaking down something. So yeah, I think that's what I'll label those under.
No, go ahead.
I don't know what was happening.
We're gonna say I don't know either.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the SLB. There we go. Serious breakdowns. That's gonna be a small something, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I guess I might cut this first, and no, I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
That's up to you. I have no idea how to work any of that shit.
But, and then in sad news, you wanted to bring to the table a voice actor that we lost recently.
Murrow, I think is how you pronounce his last name. He passed recently. For me, the most notable role I know him from was Cyclops from the X-Men Evolutions TV show, which I loved to watch growing up, so it's really sad. Rest in peace, mate.
Yeah. It's always like, that show wasn't as big for me for like my age, so it was more like the actual like X-Men animated series. But it is always crazy to like, especially because once you become an adult, you realize like more these people that you just love hearing every day, and you automatically like, this is who that character is in your mind. Like that, like whatever that Marvel character or Star Wars character, whether it be like Clone Wars and stuff like that, that it has a bigger impact on you when they pass away or something, that you're like, whew, like this is a big deal. Like, man, I will probably like bawl my eyes out when like Kevin Conroy passes away or something, because he's getting, I think, quite up there, and I love that man. I met him once. He's like the nicest person ever, and so like even these voice actors we don't really get to see, they still make like impacts on people that are pretty crazy.
Especially him, because I was never super big into Cyclops as a character. The only times I really do like Cyclops tends to be like his comic book portrayal. So TV shows, movies, I don't really get attached. But he was one of my favorite variations of Cyclops that was brought to any form of animation, movie, big screen, yada yada. So it is kind of sad for that. Yeah,
that's like another, man, if Steve Bloom ever goes away, because we just looked up his freaking like character biography the other day, and that was freaking nuts.
It's never Zabuza, right?
Zabuza, Orochimaru.
Zabuza Momochi was my nigga, so that's the one I care about.
Wolverine and a ton of stuff.
He was a Mon. His voice as a Mon
in the worst Avatar series.
Oh yes, but Amon is my favorite
character.
He's my favorite character out of Legend of Korra. You remember the fucking Mandalorian thing? I like Mando because of his fucking voice.
Yeah,
Amon is in that same category.
Mm-hmm. It's like, man, we should do a breakdown of like the 2 series of Avatar. Like, hey, you've already like rewatched them.
Yes, but I didn't take notes, so I'd have to go back and
but this would be more of like a entire synopsis, especially since like the first Avatar had like 4 seasons. And
both of them have
crazy.
4.
Yeah, it was like crazy long.
Well, yeah, but like one of them was like crazy good.
Yeah, definitely.
I was already forced to rewatch Legend of Korra once this year.
Yeah.
2020 is rough enough, mate. I don't need to watch that shit again.
Hey, we can wait. We'll keep doing this. This is down the line. So, yeah. Look forward to that, guys, because I'll force him to do it.
Cancel us. Andy hates black people. Cancel us.
My dog does though. Apparently, we might have solved that now. Bridging the gap, bringing people together. And then in other news, there might be a Deadpool 3. Once again, it's just rumors, I think.
Oh, really? I thought they said that there was like...
I don't think it's like fully, like, yes, this is happening.
Because I heard they're like, oh, Disney's going to be making an R-rated movie now.
Yeah, like, Disney was real hesitant. Like, I believe even just like 3 months ago or something, like, some Disney exec was asked about doing Deadpool, and he was just like, we have no plans in the future of doing any Deadpool movie or anything. And then, like, within a couple months, they're just like, Deadpool 3's happening, and
it's almost like it makes money, and that's what they're after.
Yeah, and like I'm super excited. I love Ryan Reynolds, like
I do
period, too. And I think he fits that character so perfectly. I hope though, like one thing I think is missing from Deadpool is his like broken psyche that he has like inner monologues all the time of like to other people in his head, and I think that needs to like kind of happen more, but. It might be kind of a hard thing to do in movie like
it
form.
Might be. Well, I feel like Deadpool, just because the character and the style that it'd be easiest to do it for a Deadpool movie compared to like, I don't know, fucking The Punisher or some shit.
They're gonna have to do it for like Moon Knight probably too.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because that
Poe
series
Dameron
is coming.
Is the Moon Knight.
Yeah, and he definitely has voices in his head, so that's gonna be tricky.
What was it? I do feel like if they don't do Deadpool 3, they should at least make Deadpool kind of be like that Stan Lee character where he just pops up in a movie.
Yeah.
For a brief cameo.
Well, and like I think what's going to be perfect is this probably being our first like X-Men kind of character in the MCU is that he'll notice it. Like he'll bring it up. Like
yeah.
He can break the fourth wall, so he can literally be just like, wasn't I with another studio like a year ago or something? Like, it's gonna be great, I think, to like, especially him as maybe bridging the gap, because it'll be just like, oh yeah, and then man, I can't wait to see him maybe with like Spidey or something, because
the shippers can't wait for that,
dude. Like him and Spider-Man can't stand each other, or like Deadpool loves Spider-Man, but Spider-Man can't stand Deadpool. So
you know what this means, though, right? People are going to start shipping Tom Holland and Ryan Reynolds.
There we go. Yep.
The real life version of that's going to be very weird. Ew.
Man, I can't wait to see too. Like, hopefully in maybe Spider-Man. In Deadpool 3, we get our reveal for the new Wolverine.
Ooh, that would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I want the reason Spider-Man hates Deadpool in the MCU is because Deadpool makes fun of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I just want a line where he's like, why are you mourning Tony Stark? He did blackface in a war movie once.
That'd be great.
And, Spike can be like, what the fuck are you talking about, mate?
He's like, definitely he can hit all that stuff of just like killing, like making fun of every single person that's like taken seriously and everything. Like, him meeting, I think even like Doctor Strange and stuff would be perfect. And
agreed.
Like, oh man, him just like poking the Hulk and stuff, like trying to get him to like do something crazy. And Deadpool fits that world so well, and I think Marvel does humor pretty decently.
I think so as well. But with him going into like the MC universe, do you think they might try to make him a bit more serious and take him into his like the sad jester route that he has in the comics of I want to be a hero, but my ledger is so soaked in blood that nobody takes me seriously. He's trying to do good. He's trying to become a part of the X-Men or the Avengers, and they're just like, we don't want you.
Yeah. I've seen, like, my favorite one was, he was trying to join the X-Men when he had that kind of thing, but it still had, like, the laughs and everything. Like, he didn't, like, it didn't take it too far.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to say they're on drop-all comedy, but do you think they might make a slightly more serious portrayal of, like, Wade Wilson?
They might. Like, I think they already did pretty serious stuff, like, with him and his girlfriend and stuff, and then even with, like, the ending of 2 and stuff of him, like, trying to bring her back and everything. And, like, I don't know, I think he'll still have, like, heart. Like, he's not just, like,
I get that, but
he is kind of, he's the merc with a mouth, but I don't know if they'll
tone him down a bit is what I'm more so, I guess, saying.
I think they know what they have, and Ryan Reynolds even like helped write, I think, 1 and 2 with the director of them. So they're just gonna want to tell jokes the whole entire time.
I just really, I'm kind of excited because I want to see him try to join the Avengers.
Yeah.
Meet up with Cap, who's now an old saggy ass bitch.
Yeah.
But still, he gets to meet his hero, so that's going to be great. Leads up to a bunch of touching scenes.
Dude, that's why also I can't wait for Wolverine to be in that universe, because Wolverine was also in World War II. So
yeah, that's right.
For him to actually be like Cap, like, what happened to you kind of thing, and like that would just be so sick for him to like actually meet up with Captain America. And
except he's old now and it fucking sucks.
Yeah. Hey, they did that in the comics too, and he's back.
Yeah, I know. They also got him to say Hell Hydra, so like,
yeah.
There we go.
Oh my gosh, do you remember that through line for the comic books when he was like old?
No, a little bit.
Well, they found a way to basically like remove the super serum from his actual like DNA, and then that's what made him just like age rapidly.
Yeah.
I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, it's in his DNA. That's even like when all the time when they're like, we're gonna cure the mutant disease. Like, it's not a disease. Like, they're born like this. Like, that's not like.
Sounds like a disease to me.
Yeah. So like, it never makes any sense. That's just also like the Wolverine, which is probably my least favorite.
Bro, you mean movies. The one that has him rip his heart out and like put it back in?
Yeah.
That's the greatest Wolverine movie.
The guy injects these drills into where Wolverine's claws are and somehow sucks all of his healing factor out of his body, and you're like, for one, the rest of his claws would only be like 4 inches long for where you stuck those drills into. And how do you suck, like, this makes no, like, how do you suck the DNA and like blood and everything from a person's whole entire body from like 4 inches of bone
marrow?
Just the bone marrow in those bones.
Yeah, that's all you need.
But Wolverine's just like
that's all you need. Just a little bit of bone marrow goes a long way. Bone marrow is the window to the little strands of DNA cortex shit. I had science classes before. I know this shit. I know what I'm talking about.
Sweet.
I could WebMD this shit in a fucking heartbeat.
Nice.
Do you think WebMD has stuff? WebMD could clarify if being a mutant's a disease or not, right?
Yeah.
Should I WebMD it?
Well, I think because you can be a mutant in our life, we're just not really that exciting. It's like if you have like blue eyes, you're a mutant.
What color are your eyes?
Green.
Are you a mutant?
I don't think so. I think mine's more common. They just look cool.
They are stunning. So, other news, I started another series I probably shouldn't have because I am I've fallen into the habit of starting shit and then not finishing everything.
Yeah, because some things kind of look cool, and then once you're in them, they're kind of crappy.
Yeah, or I just get to like a slowdown point and then I stop watching for a bit, or just life, hectic shit, and I'm just like, I could continue, or I could start this new thing. Started watching a show off Netflix called Baki.
The Grappler.
Yeah.
At least that's the manga it's called.
The show is just referred to as Baki.
Yeah.
I don't even see like the little smaller font, the Grappler, under it or next to it or anything.
How's the OP? How's
the first OP is actually, it's pretty decent. It's nothing memorable, but
that also, I swear that can sell an anime to me. It's just an awesome OP and just starting off, and I'm like so psyched. Like, man, the first time you watch Bleach and Miyagi-san is all to know, it's going off, and you're just like, yep, let's do this. This is great.
I will die on this fucking hill. The original Naruto and Bleach.
Yeah.
They have some of my all-time favorite fucking openings.
Yeah. The ending songs aren't always great. They're usually just super soft. Except for, I think Naruto once upon a time had a super
metal.
They had a super upbeat one or whatever for the end, and it just does not work with that show because
a metal one.
But it gets but you know how
yeah.
Okay, my whole point is sometimes that show gets real sad and real dark. For anime about little ninja kids, it gets pretty dark sometimes. And then you have to deal with this boop doop doop at the end, and you're just like, oh man, this is the wrong tone.
I want a Serious List production karaoke channel where I can just watch Andy sing all of its anime shit, but
yeah.
I just want to watch him sing and do sound effects to his favorite fucking OPs and endings.
Yeah, let's do it. But man, actually, if we get a decent following maybe on Facebook, I actually do want to do polls or something for people to do, and maybe we could do topics and stuff, because I do want to do a big bracket kind of thing sometime of the greatest anime OPs of all time, and just have people narrow them down. There's even Initial D has two, I think, amazing openings. They have a Japanese one and they have an English one, and the Japanese one's super amazing. It's just really upbeat and just actually kind of fun lyrics and stuff. They're all in English. And then the American one, it came out around the time I think that Linkin Park and stuff was big, so it actually has a band that almost sounds like Linkin Park, and they nail, I think, this song. But it's just weird to me that I kind of want to knock those out, have people listen to them and be like, what's at least the best out of the English versus Japanese Initial D song and stuff, and then actually go through tons of, and I haven't heard them all, so people would have to join in and be like, here's my favorite anime opening, and then
I'm gonna ask you a couple. What's your favorite Naruto opening?
I don't know what the names are, but it's definitely one of the early ones. It's
just sing your favorite part.
Oh man, I don't remember.
Fucking loser.
Yeah, I even have a whole Spotify playlist of anime stuff, and recently I love the Fire Force opening. That's
What's
one of the ones that's
one?
I forget what it is, but I liked the original opening for Fire Force. It was really cool.
I like it, but my problem with it is there's that one part where it just sounds like it comes to its final conclusion.
Yeah, and then it just
reboots,
right
and I'm
in.
like, no, you ended.
Yeah.
You blew your load. Please, no. I don't hate it. I like the song, but I'm like, that was clearly the perfect moment to end.
Yeah.
And now we're back with 10, 15 more seconds of.
Well, and I don't think I want it to be a bunch of people too, not just you and me critiquing the best.
I wouldn't call this critiquing. We're just dicking around.
For this list to actually be made, because I think it'd be cool to have a big group of people to make a good list of this, because I hate watching Watch Mojo and they have the worst crap in the world, and this is I think you and me together watched what the hell?
It's time to cut
Google.
that out.
But I Like we watched like the best anime fights or whatever of like the decade, and they were horrible. Like so, it definitely never works out like when it's like that. Because like I know tons of people love like the opening to Attack on Titan, but I can't. I don't get into it at all.
Uh, I mean, I think that's probably well. Attack on Titan has some really amazing animation,
Yeah.
and I think it's on display at some of its best in at least for the first season in its original OP, which I think is my favorite part of that show. I couldn't really make it past the first season because I couldn't get into it all that much. But
same. I watched like 3 episodes of like the second season, and I was just like, "There's too much whining and crying and stuff." Like
I
that's
didn't
like
even get
even
into
people
the second season.
people tried to get me into like
Elfen Lied.
Yeah,
Lied.
That's another one that's just like the first half of that like first season is just people like crying and whining about stuff. Like you just got thrown in a fantasy world. This should be super sick. Like
Elfen Lied's not fantasy. I mean, I get like the
maybe I'm talking about a different one.
The weird vectors and shit aren't. I feel like that'd be more sci-fi though.
But I don't know. It's it's weird.
I mean, Elfen Lied is kind of weird,
but yeah, that would be a great thing to do if you're interested in that. Leave a comment or something, and think about doing it in the future.
We could also just make like a Twitter and an Insta. I feel like we might get more over there.
I don't even remember what we were talking about before we got into this. Baki! Yeah, since we didn't... I went on a tangent about just the OP.
Yeah, the first OP it's decent. It's nothing to write home about. Kind of forgettable at the end of the day, but it wasn't super bad. I hate the second one.
Oh, really?
I don't like it. It is... it has this really weird, like, auto-tune over it that it makes it sound like kind of robotic, like that, those weird harmonized robotic shits. Sounds like that, and then it just there's parts where it rips into like pure metal with these really gruff screams. And that part I'm like, yay, cool, whatever, fine, I like that shit, I like metal, but I don't like this.
The rest of it.
Nah, none of that part is good. For this new one, I like the concept. The new opening that I'm at right now, it's just Baki Hanra, the main character. It's in him and his little booty shorts, like the fighter. It's the fighter shorts. It's the shorts fighters wear. But he's just standing here and he's going over the combos. It's kick, punch, punch, jab, jab, uppercut, high kick, roundhouse kick, knee strike, whop, 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 whop. He's shadow boxing.
Yeah.
And that's literally the entire opening. At some parts, yes, it's probably more accurate to how people would shadow box, but watching a guy basically do the same combo over and over again, just
every single time you watch
in different directions and stuff, it's just it gets kind of repetitive.
Yeah.
Also, Baki as a Netflix anime at the moment, it relies heavily on those really bad, god-awful CGI animations. It blends it with regular 2D animations, but when it kicks into 3D, you really fucking know.
Yeah.
And it's not good at all.
Well, that's what I was kind of wondering is, like, how the fights and stuff actually look. Because when you told me you were talking about this, all I did was I looked up, like, a few screenshots of, like, the manga, and I was like, wow, this is terrible. Hopefully I get to show you my art sometime, so you don't think I'm just critiquing things without actually thinking I know what I'm doing when I draw. But I just think it looks so weird. He, for some reason, has to emphasize like every single muscle and like a body without like, I don't know, much of what a person's doing, and their bodies just move in ways that don't make any sense.
There's an episode, it is probably one of my favorite things because it's a meme to me. There's an episode where Baki Hanra, he's like 17. He's doing physical education. What's the physical fitness test?
Yeah.
He's doing one of those. And he has his entire class of, kids around his age. They're all in their gym gear, shorts and some t-shirts and stuff. And all of them just look like regular human beings. Meanwhile, Baki's like 6'6", fucking shredded. He ain't got a neck because it's just pure trapezoid.
Yeah.
It's fucking. There's a part where he has to run, so he like rips off his t-shirt and his pants. So he's in like tank tops and some shorts, and his fucking legs are like 3 times the size of every other person because they just get like those thin line noodle fucking limbs.
Yeah.
But he has this fucking. There's definition in his thighs, his calves, his knees.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any joint. It's just pure muscle, and muscle and scars. He's very scarred.
Oh,
because,
yeah. Battles.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't understand what Baki is already, it's just a battle anime. There's
it's a fight
there's nothing
anime.
really else going on. It's not even really like a shonen. It's more of like just straight up
the
fights.
concept is, or I guess basic plot synopsis is, I think 5 of the world's deadliest criminals who were on death row have all escaped and are heading to Japan to fight Baki Hanra because they all want to taste defeat. Baki also happens to be the son of the world's strongest fighter, like in history. And it is I don't know if I like it or dislike it. Like I sit down and I watch it with my friend, my watching buddy Aaron, and all I do is really laugh and bitch about things about it to him. But
Sounds about right.
I keep going back for more. It's not like any of it's so bad that I'm just like, I'm done with this fucking show. Besides the very, very weird way they draw the human male body, which is almost always beyond peak physicality.
Yeah.
The fights are something to behold. When they do not switch into shoddily done 3D animations for the fights, they're kind of decent. They are all beyond over the top. I'm gonna spoil one fight towards the beginning of the show of Hanra versus Spec. Hanra's like this Yakuza mafia boss with really dope ass back tattoo. He fights in those weird I'm uncultured, so I'm gonna just say it's a thong. The fucking the Japanese thing.
Yeah.
Knotted, goes right up the ass crack. He has a very firm ass. Like even their ass muscles are just fucking rock solid, bro.
Yeah, I think even one of my comments when you told me to check it out, I was like, seems very homoerotic.
All of their asses.
To each his own, but it's
all of their like every person just has these very firm, like they gotta be clenching 24/7.
Yeah.
There's actually, with that show they're probably not clenching, but I'd be scared
doing
to see what they're
all the time and
just pure muscle ass. Anyways, Harima is a Yakuza boss, and Spec is some douchebag he's a serial killer. They're all serial killers, but Spec likes to cheat by using sucker punches, weapons, yada yada. Sucker punches Hanra. Beats the shit out of him. Hanra no-sells everything and then decides to rip his very expensive looking suit. Just shreds it, takes it off to reveal that the fact that he has no neck is because all of his muscles are beyond muscles. And then they show his back tattoo. He has one of those like massive tattoos that a lot of Yakuzas tend to have. So then they give you the backstory on his back tattoo. It's a tattoo that everybody in his Yakuza clan thingy gets because tradition, yada yada. He gets it, it looks perfect. He's like, it's not finished. And then he leaves to go to like an enemy compound because they killed somebody important to him. And he goes in there and he slaughters all of their men. And when his clan catches back up to him and they're like, boss, they find him standing amongst like all the carnage with scars all over his back from fighting off like 1,000 people. And he's like, now it is finished. And then like the narrator comes in and he's like, his final touches came in the form of scars. And now the sentinel holding the wave can be complete. And it's like, did we need a fucking 5-minute backstory for his fucking tattoo?
Yes. That's like definitely old school anime.
Oh well, there is
manga
there is a
of-
very older. There's an older version that
Okay.
literally
of
looks
definitely
like
like
1990s.
shooting back in time to just tell you something really expository and just kind of dumb. Like they do that.
Well, no,
ton
it gets better because
Oh,
the fight
okay.
continues, and then they cut to like two lesser men. You can tell they're lesser because they don't have any true muscle definition. You can see their necks.
Yeah.
They're fighting in the street, and it's not even a fight. They're just like, ah, ha, and then they both whip out a knife, and then some dude who is clearly a Chad because he barely has a neck comes in, is like, bop, bop. You guys stop it. We're real men. We fight with our hands. Because if you pull out a knife and I'm at a disadvantage, well, now I have the advantage because I have to fight harder to make up for being at a disadvantage. And that's the way that me and my boss fight. His boss is Hanra, the Yakuza
Big,
boss.
ridiculous dude.
So it comes back to him being beat up by this dude with weapons. And he's just like, oh, psych, bitch. I can fight back too. Spec uses, I guess, his signature move or an alt or whatever. It's like, I can't pronounce the word. The A word rush.
Never die.
And it's basically just Spec has trained himself to be able to hold his breath for 5 minutes straight. And in a fight, even the fastest boxer, with every punch, they have to draw a single breath. And at that moment, they're open to a counterattack. But
pretty
because
sure,
Spec
period.
can hold his breath, there's no openings for a counterattack. So he can strike for 5 minutes straight without any openings.
It makes because you'd still need to breathe, and it's like even going swimming or something. Yeah, there's
Well-
people that can hold their breath for super long time, but even afterwards, you still have to be like.
Well, no, because Spec, the way he breaks out of his death row sentence is he was in a submarine, and he has to swim out. And they're like, well, we're so deep, it'd take him 5 minutes to swim. But he's been practicing. So now he can hold his breath for up to 5 minutes, and he can swim all the way to the top. There's also this B plot to the fight where they show this mini Statue of Liberty that's in Japan. And there's this random black night guard that walks over and he finds this piece of paper covering something on it. It's a massive piece of sheet of something. And he pulls it off to see there's a bunch of fist marks coating this one part. As soon as he pulls the paper off, the entire statue starts to crack and it's threatened to fall apart. And throughout the fight, they keep cutting to show this random workforce of strong men trying to bind the statue back together before it can fall to complete pieces. And this plays no real purpose in the anime at all. I'm just so baffled by why we keep cutting to it.
Yeah.
Anyways, Hanra, the Yakuza guy, steps back into the fight and actually fights. And all of his punches seem to be twice as strong as Spec's. Because every time he punches Spec, Spec goes flying. He beats the shit out of Spec. But Spec's a cheater. So he takes live ammunition that he stole from the police when he broke out of prison, which they later cut to the cops going, where the fuck is Spec at? He broke out again? This time he took all of our ammunition? But he takes that, places it in Hunter's mouth, and then pimp slaps him so hard that it sets off the ammunition that he just put in. So all of the bullets go off and
Just from a punch.
slap.
Oh, a slap. Yep.
All of the bullets go off, and there's this scene where they show the flash of the bullets igniting and firing off. The light comes from his mouth, his nose, and his eyes. Blood pours from his eyes, and I think even smoke comes out of his eyes. But his eyes are perfectly fine. Both of them survive, but his cheeks are blown out to the point where you can see his teeth. He punches Spec into a lamppost. Spec is electrocuted. He then knocks Spec out, drags him back to the police. The police are like, oh, we're so grateful because none of us weak non-men, us fucking incel cuck humanoids could never
super chads.
could never do the work of a super chad like you. And they're like, get him something to cover his disfigured face and drive him home. And then Spec's like, nah, I'm awake. Kills all these cops, flips over the car, and then beats the shit out of Hanra while he's crawling out, curb stomps him like 8 times, and then we switch to the driver of the car that was going to take Hanra home. Yeah. He's giving a police report on the incident, and they keep cutting back to him, like, telling the story from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
And, God, it's annoying because he's not even consistent. Like, at one moment, he's like, oh, I wish I could forget the sights and sounds that I heard from this fight because they haunt my brain. And the other times he's like, oh, you thought that would be the end of it? No. This is what happens next. Yeah, I can't believe it either, but us regular guys would never understand. The fight continues. Spec shoots him in both of his knees with a gun. Shoots him several times with just handguns. Hunter doesn't care. He gets up, beats the shit out of him some more. Curb stomps him basically in return. And then he pummels his face in. And then Spec goes for a rear naked choke. Starts suffocating him. And then he goes like this to pinch. And we get another side story about a famous boxer who stepped up in his weight division and then had to be retired because he was mysteriously attacked by somebody who basically pried his arm almost off of his arm. And then it's all being told by the cop giving his police report. He's like, yeah,
so
guess
the
what?
cop knew.
Yeah, he's like, guess what? That was Hanra. He has super grip strength stuff. So Hanra rips Spec's forearms apart. Rips a cup, like, there's one part where he rips his forearm and then, like, the damage is actually on his elbow, but it's really weird. But he does that, and then he rips Spec's throat out.
Yeah. And
then he stands over Spec and roars, and that's the end of the fight. You'd think Spec dies.
God.
But no, they cut to him in, like, a hospital. He's still alive somehow, but all of his muscle has deflated, and it turns out Spec is, like, 90-something years old.
Oh.
And then we cut to a story as the doctor explains that this type of thing happens. There's a guy who found treasure. He finds treasure. He has it, and then he dies. And they're like, how could he ever die? He was so happy. Nobody killed him. And it turns out he was like 87 years old, but he just looked like he was 30 or 40 or some shit, and he had a heart attack. And I was like, why the fuck do we need all these side stories to tell?
And why the hell do all these people know just random ass facts about shit?
Like, it was, at least when the narrator, there's like a narrator that really just appears for some things. At least when he does it, it's fine. It's a narrator.
Yeah.
They're typically like omniscient or something.
They just know like everything.
But it just keeps cutting to this shit. They keep introducing these random characters that are here for a couple episodes only to die later. Or, no, actually, they don't die. I don't think any Alpha Chad-esque character has actually died so far. All of them are just defeated in one way or another.
Just all the simps die.
Yeah, just us normie simps that can't punch our way through fucking pure steel.
There's a name for like the non-Chad person. I forget what it is.
Incel?
I guess.
Cuck?
Yeah.
Beta simp? Bitch? I don't know if I can say the F word on YouTube, but that word.
But yeah, this sounds amazing.
It's genuinely something.
Like, it's stupid as hell, but like, I'm assuming this probably took like 7 episodes too. Just that.
Yeah, I don't think it was quite 7. I think it was like 4, maybe 5. I could be wrong. They do cut to like other things as well, but there's a horrible pacing problem where they try to leave you on like cliffhangers for fights.
Mm-hmm.
But it sucks because they just go to something that you don't care about. Like with most anime, it's like, oh, Naruto. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, when they're going after Sasuke at the end, and it's all the kids running after Sasuke. Neji has to fight that weird spider archer nigga. And you're like, oh, we're cutting back from Neji's fight without seeing what happens? Well, we're cutting to Kiba and Akamaru fighting... Yeah. Akan and Anan, or whatever their name was.
So is there other people that... Hanru? What's his name?
Baki?
Yeah, or whatever. What's his last name?
Hanra.
Yeah, there you go. I think that's what you kept referring him to. So
I call him Baki.
Hanra has other Chad friends that also fight people?
I wouldn't say he's friends with them, but he does have allies, yeah. He has some allies that he has to fight alongside.
Does he have a love interest?
Yes. Yeah. She looks like a man.
Sweet.
Not a Chad man, but like, God, I. She looks like a man.
She looking like a man.
I'm sorry to whoever that may offend.
Yeah.
I recommend it as much as I'm picking this shit apart.
Are you gonna keep watching it?
Oh yeah, there's like 3 seasons on Netflix, and I'm
sweet.
going to finish it.
I thought this was like just supposed to just recently come out, and now there's like a shit ton of episodes.
No, this came out a while ago. I just never got around to it.
I guess I just started recently seeing stuff about it because when you brought it up to me, I was like, yeah, I think I just saw recently that like, yeah, this is on Netflix, and I saw some of like a commercial or something like the animation and everything for it, but.
I've seen it on Netflix for a while. I just typically never got into it because I'd look at it and the little preview. I'd look at it, I'd see the Alpha Chad drawings of these characters, and I go, this looks fucking horrendous. And I'd go waste my time with something else.
Yeah.
But I watched The Blood of Zeus, and that animation was horrendous. So I was like, why not torture myself some more? And I'm actually kind of enjoying it in a weird, perverse way.
Yeah. At least like JoJo has like most of their characters are like alpha chads, but they're like pretty boy ones, and they also do stupid like looks and everything that make them like really like not like crazy.
You know, I feel like if they were to draw Baki in a less whatever the fuck style that he's in, somebody else were to draw Baki as a more humanish looking person, I think he could count as a pretty boy. He's definitely something I haven't mentioned. Baki definitely has his charm as a human. There's moments where you like see him switch on badass mode to like fuck up all these bad guys and shit. But when it's just him and Kosue, his love interest girlfriend character, it's genuinely like really funny. It's really great. There's moments where they're like trying to get intimate. He's just like, oh God. Just ask her out, ask her to come back to my place. Oh God, she's really close. There's a scene where she's like really close, and he's like, oh, she smells really nice. Her hair smells like lavender. Is that shampoo?
So really,
what type of shampoo? Why am I asking myself about shampoo? I should be making a move. What am I doing? Oh, it's genuinely hilarious and endearing.
That's like that's why I always kind of liked even about like Yu Yu Hakusho with the main character, what's his name? Yusuke, and that he is like this tough guy and everything and wants to show up all the time, but like anything happens to like his friends or like the girl he likes or whatever, he's just like like freaks out, and he's just like and like really you see him like the softer side of Yusuke all the time. And but
I will also give credit to Kosue because typically in anime like this, the love interest is like this babbling, helpless chick. She is helpless because there's nothing she can do that will stop any of these inhuman chads. Yeah. But she at least stands up for herself. Like, yeah, she gets kidnapped in one scene, but there's moments where like there's a moment where Baki's like in a 2-on-1 fight, and she's like, "I'll help. What do I do, Baki? I'm here to help you." And
he's just like, stay out of it.
Yeah, basically. He's like, thanks for the help, but I got this. Yeah. But still, it's really nice to see her just like man the fuck up and not be completely a damsel in distress. I've also, as I briefly mentioned, watched Blood of Zeus.
Yeah, I don't know what that is at all.
It's a show that Netflix just debuted.
Yeah. That's like
Greek
brand
stuff.
New, yeah.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be kind of like anime-ish style. With...
It's in what I call the DC animated style.
Yeah.
Because it looks like that, but just horrendously done.
Yeah.
It is not good in the slightest. It follows Haran, who is a son of Zeus.
As is like everyone in Greece at the time.
Yeah, fair enough.
Zeus be fucking.
Basically, I forgot the names of everybody because I haven't watched in a while because this isn't really all that great. But bad guy finds Titan body, eat Titan meat, become demon, spreads demon to other people, has army of demon.
Great.
And he turns out he just wants to like kill off all these royals and shit. Haran's mom gets killed. Ooh, big sad. Now he has to get revenge. His dad makes him basically a lightsaber bastard sword. It's a sword, but it cuts through anything and it glows like a lightsaber. So, Hera's teaming up with the bad guy because she wants to kill Haran because, well, he's a product of Zeus's affair. Why wouldn't you want to kill him?
Yeah.
So, the story itself, kind of predictable. I haven't been wrong about much at the moment. But I'd be able to forgive it if the animation just was a bit better.
A lot better.
It's very stiff, unappealing. I will give them credit. There are some kind of neat character designs. I like Haran's look. A lot of the gods look like, or at least Ares. Ares looks like, I don't know, if he were to take off the armor and dress in modern clothes, he'd be like the star of the Triple X movie, or he looks like he'd be like some Jason Statham, Vin Diesel-esque character.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I guess that should be fitting for the God of War, but
yeah,
it's kind of weird. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah, I've never really delved into much of the like Netflix anime stuff. Like, watched a little bit of what's the Devilman Crybaby. Yeah, I watched a little bit of that. I didn't make it through the whole thing.
I watched the whole thing, sadly.
Wasn't really that interest. Like, I kind of lost interest real quick.
I hate the animation.
Yeah,
I hate most of the story.
I like that it's stylized. Like, it's kind of cool that there's like it gets all crazy and stuff sometimes, but the story just was like nothing to me.
I like the very ending of it. I will admit I like that. I won't spoil it in case you ever want to like go back and try.
Yeah.
I like the ending. I don't like anything else about it really.
And like Seven Deadly Sins, I never watched. I know that's
Oh.
I know some people like love that show, but I don't.
I
never given it a shot.
I want to like it, but they just I can't stand Meliodas as a character. It's not much of a plot twist because they kind of spell it out for you. He's immortal. He just can't die.
Yeah.
And the stakes of the many spin-off season series thingies that they have, they're kind of dashed because you know he won't die. The things that all stakes involving him as the main character and Elizabeth, all of it's robbed because nothing of real value will come from it. That being said, supporting characters, Bon, one of my favorites out of that show. I like Merlin. I like Escanor. You know, I like everybody in the Sins, but Meliodas.
Yeah. That's the guy that's like in like the red or whatever, right? Or
Bon's the one in red.
Oh, okay.
Meliodas is the midget.
Oh, like the little kid?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, he's also like I think the oldest one out of them.
Yeah, but I mean, he looks like a little
and he's
kid. Or whatever.
overpowered, and he robs the show of so much stakes.
Well, and the thing is like, you can make immortal characters kind of cool. Like there's like Immortal Blade,
Superman.
Like,
I know he's not immortal, but he still falls into
but I mean,
the
even
OP
like
category.
in like the manga section of stuff in like
Alucard.
It's like Kyo something. Kyo. Samurai Deeper Kyo. That's another immortal character. They actually make it like really cool. Like when he's like normal, he's kind of like a fumbling like goofball of like a samurai. But anytime he pulls his blade out, he's like a monster. And there's really fan servicey stuff in it. So if you're gonna look for it, it's definitely a little over the top with that kind of stuff. But like, there's cool things. Like he kind of has like a technique, almost like Batosai, the Manslayer, where he has like pulling it out of like the sheath is like the fastest thing. So in the one bad guy like knows that he that's like his technique, so he steals actually like his sheath for his blade, so he can't do it. So he knows he's immortal, so he just says like fuck it, and he just holds the blade in his hand and basically like cuts his arm basically like off by just using the force against his own hand to like kill a guy. And I'm like, that's pretty sick. So you
just,
can do it. It's
I
just,
know it can be done. I just, at least in my opinion, it's not done properly in Seven Deadly Sins. Also, the animation just kind of dies down in some of the later seasons, which is really, like, there's a fight for Escanor and Meliodas, which is, like, super hyped up. It's one of, like, the big fights, because it's a major who would win type deal. And a lot of the animation for that's beyond subpar. It's, like,
really?
fucking trash. And I'm like, why? Why this fight of all fights? Like,
I can't really think of any of the other, like, just Netflix animes. I mostly just used Netflix to just binge watch anime that I already liked.
Fair enough.
Remember rewatching all of, like, Full Metal Alchemist, like Brotherhood
I've done
and
that.
stuff. Which, my favorite anime ever. Just putting that out there. Love that thing so much. It's amazing.
I've rewatched all of Neon Genesis off Netflix.
Okay, yeah. Which, the last time I went back and rewatched Evangelion, I was like, is it as good as we all, like, think it is? Like, when I rewatch, like, Akira, and everyone's like, that's, like, one of the greatest anime things ever, I'm like, yes, Akira is, like, absolutely brilliant. I think it's amazing, the animation and stuff, especially for the time it came out.
I didn't care for Akira that much.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
not saying it's bad.
Yeah.
I admit that it's good. It's just not
like,
my cup of tea.
Like, I kind of dig the story of, like, Evangelion, and then especially when, like, Adam and stuff comes, but, like, the story is just kind of, like, like, I don't know, like, fighting the angels and stuff of just being, like, a job, basically, is not that cool to me, I guess.
I'm what you call a simple man, so a lot of the things of Evangelion really do go over my head, and I'm just like, I see that they're there, and I just haven't put in much work to be like, you know, here's the theme, here's the deeper meaning, yada, yada, yada. I was just like, oh, that shit looks kind of complex.
Yeah.
Just gonna watch the show, bitch to Shinji about getting in the mech, and watch the bloodbath ensue.
And then just watch Shinji cry all the time and freak out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot of people bitch about things being too whiny, and I'm like, Shinji is definitely, he falls into that because he's bitches about everything. But also, he's like, what, 13?
Yeah,
but like bearing the fucking fate of humanity on his shoulders.
But so is the girls too. Like, they're pretty young, and they kind of just like, like, we'll get this done.
Yeah, but I mean, Asuka also clearly has some sort of mental condition.
Yeah.
She breaks down plenty. Shinji has mental conditions. He's breaking down plenty. Like,
but I think that's even maybe a point of the show of being like, that's why these people are good at connecting. Like, there's something wrong with them of why they can connect to the actual, like,
angels, or the Avas, I should say.
Like, some of my favorite episodes are still, like, when 01 or whatever. I have it somewhere. The one that goes nuts, the silver one, where
is that over there?
I think so.
It's dark over there.
Where that completely, like, just loses it because it loses its like harness thing, and then the character inside, like, dies and stuff from it. And then I also just love when they have to use that gigantic sniper rifle thing.
Yes,
dude, that is so amazing. Like, her just waiting up there with, like, this thing that's, like, bigger than, like, buildings. Like, just try to snipe this freaking angel.
Another show I watched off Netflix is I went through all of the Fates, rewatched a bulk of them not too long ago, earlier this year, with my friend. But we only watched Fate Zero, Fate Stay Night, Unlimited Blade Works, and Fate Apocrypha.
Yeah.
Those are great shows that I like.
I think I only ever watched Fate Zero, and I wasn't a big fan of it. There are certain things that are kind of cool. Like, I like the archetypes and everything of, like, what, like, the hunter and the
it's Saber, Archer, Lancer, Berserker, Assassin, and Caster.
Yeah, like, they're cool, and I like that even some of the different, like when you do go to like stay night and stuff, they change some of the archetypes, like what the characters actually get. Like Saber, I think is always
just in the main two. If you go to Apocrypha and even Extra, which I didn't care for Extra too much. It's my least favorite out of all of them. But in Apocrypha is actually kind of fun because there's 2 of each set.
Oh, really?
There's 2 factions that are warring, so you get 2 of every character. So there are 2 different Sabers. Neither of them are Arturia or Arthur Pendragon.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Work has Arturia return to be Saber.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I don't knock anybody that likes it. It's like I can get that kind of like what appeals to people. Yeah.
Anybody watching that's interested in Fate, the order is Fate 0, and then Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Work. Fate Extra and Fate Apocrypha are both, I guess, kind of more standalone things. You do not need to watch the original Fate because both basically go over the rule set of the world. So you can watch. I've watched Fate Apocrypha before I watched Fate 0, and I still get everything I need to know.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, though.
Yeah.
It's probably the best out of the... Well, it's better than 0, and I liked it more than Apocrypha. It also helps that it has my favorite Berserker and probably my favorite Archer.
Yeah.
I'm not giving away their identities, because I, for me at least, I think trying to go, who is this character historically supposed to be was always a very fun thing for me.
Yeah, the reveals are usually always cool, too. Like, when they actually finally, like, tell you their name or whatever. So, that is... It's, like, there's got cool parts. It was just not one of my favorite. I think the only other one that I watched, and I'm gonna forget the name of it now, but it's got something to do with, like, vampires and stuff. Forget what it is. But it takes a weird turn. Like, I can't remember what the series is called. But it's like super serious, like almost like really like dark fantasy, like holy crap, like the world's basically been like ended and there's this whole thing. It's like Seraph of
Seraph of the End.
Yeah, Seraph of the End. So like the first couple episodes, and like I guess if I knew more about this then I would be able to like know that, is like the first couple episodes are absolutely amazing. Like I was super engaged, like it's really like dark and serious. And then like after that happens and like the main character gets back out like to like the real world, it's literally just like a teen anime where he goes to school then, and like yeah, he's like in like a school and working for these people that like help slay these like the vampires and stuff, and I'm like, what just happened? I was like, you just changed this whole damn thing on me. Like he's going to like high school and stuff. Like I was like, what is happening? I was like, you took this super dark, like really cool series, and then you're just like, hey, what if instead he was going to high school and it was like super fun? And I'm like, what? Because even like his whole like orphaned family thing got like brutally murdered and everything, and some of them turned into vampires, and then you're just like, yeah, now he's just gonna go have fun with these other characters in like a high school.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like I gave up on it like almost immediately. I watched like maybe 3 more episodes after that, like into like the school thing, and I was like, maybe it'll like get back somehow, and I'm like, nope, it's not happening. So yeah. I don't recommend it.
I know about this show. I just never. It's kind of been on my to watch list, but it's in that limbo hell where I know I have to watch it, but I just never get around to actually even trying to watch it.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get into talking about our favorite anime sometime too. I think that'd be a really cool episode. But I think next week we're gonna talk about Rise of Skywalker.
Oh no! I was relieved for a second because I was like, oh, he didn't say the Predator.
Yeah.
But he said something that might even be worse. Oh. Do I have
I think
to?
that has a lot more redeeming qualities.
Can we
than...
have like a break? Like,
We
let's just
can.
have a
Yeah.
reprieve. We can
We'll
just
do it. Yeah.
we can talk about fucking favorite Pornhub video.
Yeah. Did you ever see that one? Okay, then next week you want to talk about like our top 5 favorite anime? Like each bring like 5 or 3 or something.
I can do that. Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Yeah.
Number 1, Baki.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Like, I'm telling you, watch Baki. You gonna fall in love. Fuck, I gotta think of like other ones because FMA
hard
Brotherhood
to-
is on my list,
Yeah.
so
Well,
I don't
hey,
want to say.
We can just really hammer it out on like we'll go like 5-1. So we'll just hammer it out like crazy if both of us like our number 1 is that.
I don't want to put it on my list because I know it's on your list.
Yeah. And I like it's also gonna be hard. Like we're just gonna have to research a bunch of anime because man, there's some that I just love, but you just like it leaves your mind sometimes.
Okay, I know what you mean.
That I would like probably rewatch in a heartbeat, but I'd be like, what was that called again? Like holy crap. And so yeah,
I definitely know 2 that I like, maybe 3. I might have 3 off the top of my head, but I definitely know 2 that I'm gonna say.
So I think the only other thing that I might bring to the table today is the Sandman.
Bring me a dream, boom, 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 make it the greatest thing that I've ever seen.
The audiobook,
Boom, boom, boom.
for some reason, treats itself like either like a radio show or like it was supposed to be animated. There's like crazy music and like super like boisterous, beautiful music and stuff like that, and you're just like, I just want to listen to the rest of the story. Like I don't care about the music. And then each chapter is just like the Sandman, and then it comes in and it'll be like
Bring me a dream, boom, 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 boom.
and then be like the dollhouse, because every chapter has like its own thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. I never read the Sandman like comic books or anything at the time, and I know Neil Gaiman's an amazing writer, so I was like, yeah. And I already have Audible. It's one of their like originals and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, because there's like crap ton of like actors and everything. Like it's not like a normal audiobook where it's just like, here's a person reading a book. This is like they remade this so that it makes sense to just be like read it to you instead of it being like in a comic book form. So it doesn't really make much sense. And then they've got different actors for like different characters and everything, and it's pretty incredible. The story of Sandman, I didn't know basically anything. I don't know if even they put all of the things in order or anything. But it starts off when he gets captured, which I didn't even know that was like a thing. He's captured for like decades and decades and decades, and it's basically him dealing with this family, and then also his items. Like he has 3 pieces of like gear that makes him like powerful. It's his helmet, his bag of sand, and the ruby that he hangs on his chest. And like it just gets like real crazy. Like the so beyond that, like you go, it's supposed to be like the Hellfire Club kind of thing, where like people that are like satanic worshipers and stuff, that they were actually trying to trap death so that they could
Live forever.
like, live forever. And then instead they got Death's brother, Morpheus, Dream, and he
No, Morpheus isn't Dream. He's actually the black guy in the Matrix. Lawrence Fishburne, I think, is his name.
I think his name's actually spelled different, but he's
Leave it to the black man to not know how to spell Morpheus.
Dream of the Endless. But like I dig I think the person voicing him is actually the guy that is Professor Xavier in like First Class and stuff like that and everything. What's his name?
James Avery? Is that the one?
I forget his name. Like the guy that's in like basically the new like young
Is it James Avery or McAvoy?
McAvoy? Yeah, McAvoy, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think
I know
he,
it's one of the fucking two.
he's Sandman, which I think his voice fits him pretty well. And I think maybe even if they ever made a Sandman like movie or something like that, I think he'd be able to play him pretty well. But then once you get out of like him being entrapped, it's the building of like also you're like, oh, we're in the world of comic books. Like we're now going to visit like the JLA, and we're gonna visit John Constantine and stuff like that. So it's really cool, like in that stuff, and like, and then also I've been rewatching the Constantine show recently because of Sandman, I wanted to rewatch it, and man, I love that show. It got so screwed over that like they ended it after one season. That guy is perfect as John Constantine, but
I have not watched it.
Maybe that's for another time. Dude,
I typically don't watch live action TV shows.
It is fucking perfect. Like this guy just nails Constantine. Like you know, like the movie with Keanu Reeves. He's
The Matrix.
Like, yeah, but like the Constantine movie with Keanu Reeves. Like he's not John Constantine. Like that's not who he is. Like
he's Neo.
He's a British like dickhead like Constantine is. So this guy like fits him perfectly. And then like the cast of characters around him and stuff for selling it is awesome. Yeah, I really recommend the Sandman thing. Like especially once he starts looking for that stuff, it gets kind of fillery, which I maybe even think the comics probably did too. Like before they jumped to like the next arc, but like they kind of go in the past and tell you more things about like who Morpheus is, and because even since he's like an endless like deity kind of thing, he even shows up to different people in different ways. So if someone from like a different culture sees him, they see him as like a different god than he is to like other people. Like I guess Morpheus as him being just like this long black hair and usually like dressed in black and stuff like that. That's his normal look, but
I too am also normally a god.
Yeah, but he even like shows himself to Jean-Jean's Martian Manhunter, and he has his own vision of what Morpheus looks like. So it's kind of cool, like they're like, oh yeah, like he's supposed to be a deity, and that yeah he'd show up differently to someone of like a different culture or something. But yeah, definitely recommend it. It's been really intriguing. I've got like a 2-hour drive every day, so audiobooks are definitely my thing.
I should look into that because I still haven't read a single word from my Norse mythology book that I've mentioned I was reading like 3 episodes ago.
Yeah,
because reading is not my strong suit.
Yeah, well, even for that reason, if you don't want to just listen to that book, there's a guy that does like a Norse podcast, and I started like listening to his stuff a while ago when I was like really into God of War, and he has amazing stories and stuff. And it was kind of crazy because I was listening to it while I was playing God of War, and I didn't know like a lot of the mythology or like the mistletoe thing that was gonna kill
that I knew,
and like I didn't know that stuff. And that also because like the big reveal, spoiler alert, at the end is that Atreus is actually Loki. So when what's his name, Thor, like Thor's brother, the one that can't die except from mistletoe,
Balder.
Yeah, Balder. He basically he does get killed by mistletoe by getting shot by Atreus.
Mistletoe arrow.
Yeah, and the thing is, I was already listening to this podcast, and he explained that like, yeah, that's how Balder dies, and I was like, well, that's kind of weird that like, yeah, he did die from mistletoe, but it wasn't Loki that killed him, because in Norse mythology, Loki kills him, and then at the end of it, they're like, oh yeah, his name's actually Loki, and you're like, oh, it was right in front of me. I was like, that's actually sick.
I don't think Loki. Oh, I mean, Loki's responsible for Balder's death, but I think it's another blind god.
Other people kill him.
Yeah, he tricks a blind god into shooting him with an arrow. It's his fault. Yeah,
like Loki, I think gives him the mistletoe.
Yeah,
so that, yeah, but like it's still like, oh man, like they actually did make it work out then.
Oh yeah, cool. I thought that was hella neat.
Yeah,
and you can ask DJ. I was one of the people that was just like, Atreus, that shit don't make any sense. Bet money that nigga's Loki.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I thought when I made my prediction, I thought it was like, oh, I'm Loki, I'm fully developed, and I'm just playing this as a game.
Yeah.
It seems more so like he's Loki, he just doesn't know that he's Loki.
Yeah.
So,
I really hope for like the second game that's apparently supposed to be out next year. Maybe Atreus is like a little older now, and maybe he's more closer to becoming like a Loki type character, and maybe he can even like transform and stuff. Because like I didn't realize too until I was listening to a podcast that like Loki is like a shapeshifter and everything. Like,
yeah,
he changes like all the time to like trick people into stuff, and I was like, if they put you in control of Atreus and you get to do like all kind of like crazy stuff beyond, like if his dad was still like an archetype of being like super strong and just like bashing people, but then you play as
Loki, who's like the puzzle man.
Yeah, and then also he would just like, even if he fought, he would be like a lot more like nimble and stuff. So I think it'd be pretty sick to do. But I think we might have a full whole game though. Like I feel like maybe we're getting to like the death of Kratos or something like that. And
can Kratos fucking die?
I don't know. He's getting old.
Yeah,
really
but like,
sense to me.
The original trilogy still exists in this timeline, and like, didn't Kratos die like twice in that shit, and then he's back, and then I don't know. They've just built him up as like such a unkillable thing that I just question if he can be killed.
But like, I think it'd be cool if then Atreus / Loki is like the series character then, and then he goes after like another group of gods or something like that, because that was apparently
I do believe they hinted for Egyptian and Japanese, right?
Yeah, like that was his like thought, was that Kratos wouldn't just be like this guy that just fights the Greek gods. He was gonna go around and like kill every single like god there is from like other mythologies and stuff. So I was like, that'd be pretty sick.
So for your vision or belief or hope or whatever you want to call it, where Kratos dies, do you think he's going to die to the Thunderer Thor, or do you think he's going to kill Thor in true God of War fashion?
I think if he dies at all, it'll be to like Odin. Like I guess Thor is more like the fighter, but I just
Odin
think
is wise. I mean, Odin's super wise. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. But I'm excited. I'm gonna be super excited for when it comes out. So.
Especially because it's Ragnarok, and that is
the end.
That's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
But
where the wolves eat the sun and the moon.
Was it Skull and Hati? I believe are their names. The children of Fenrir. Before we end off of this podcast, I realize this is crooked. I hope I can still be heard. I don't know how to fix that.
It's really. I don't think it's.
Is it? Maybe
it's basically just the pop filter move.
Okay. Well, I blame Andy. Anyways, the Marvel series I've still been watching.
Mm-hmm.
We got to. I don't think we talked about Captain America: The Winter Soldier yet, have we?
I don't believe. I don't know. Whatever.
We got to that. God, I love the way they introduce the Winter Soldier just in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Having Nick Fury of all people being on the ropes.
Yeah.
And he still is, being a badass and escaping all these motherfuckers despite being injured in a completely compromised SUV.
Yeah.
But for the Winter Soldier to just walk out in front of him and take out this car that nobody else could with a single move.
Yeah.
Completely badass. And then like 5 minutes later, he snipes Nick Fury, kills him, and then you get the chase scene where fucking Cap runs after him, throws his shield, he turns back, catches it.
Catches it, yeah.
One of the coolest villain introductions in any hero movie I've ever seen. We're going to get to the other coolest one for me in a bit. I don't have too much to bitch about for the Winter Soldier.
No, it's definitely one of my favorites. Like when the Russo brothers said they were making this, they said they wanted to be more like a spy action film,
which they did a great job.
Yeah, and I think it works out pretty amazing. A lot of the fight scenes are really sick in this. Like they had actual like stunt guys doing all these crazy moves, and like the fight scene between like Cap and the Winter Soldier when they're just even like flopping like the knife around and everything, like that's awesome. Like I love the impacts, like the very beginning when he's on the boat.
I did want to bring this up.
When he like jumps and like kicks these dudes,
fucking
and it's like
Sparta
that's
kick and they
what
fly.
would happen if like a super powered person hits people. Like I
That
hate when
being
they
said,
don't make people.
That
seem
I want
strong.
to actually bring this up because you mentioned how you're like Thor doesn't seem like he's all that strong,
Yeah.
but Cap does. There's only like 2 people that he fucking launches. There's one person he charge kicks, like full sprint, and there's another dude they like fucking full sprint.
But I mean, like
hits.
even in some of the things, I think the one guy he just like grabs his head and like smashes
Oh,
him on
yeah.
the ground and stuff. I'm like, this is what
But
a super
There are
powered
also
person can do.
there are also and not just that weird flippy acrobatic main mini boss at the beginning,
Yeah,
but there are just other people where he's like punch. I'm turning around to punch this guy, and then the other person's like recovering. He has to do full ass combos on
Yeah.
some people,
well,
whereas
she's not,
Thor.
like, he's not Thor strong.
Yeah, but I know. But you're like one of the other podcasts. You're like, I don't feel like they make Thor seem as strong. I feel like Cap seems
Yeah.
stronger in some of these fights. I just want to point out, like, this is why I was countering it because
Yeah.
now that I got to watch, yeah, there's like a couple people that he hits and they go wee,
yeah,
but there are also Cap still has to do fucking combos, and he does have some badass combos.
Yeah.
Like I will give him that, but there are combos that have to be done. My main problem with this as a spy movie, Cap's like 6'5" fucking
Alright.
and shredded beyond all fucking belief.
Oh, and I was doing that because it's just like
Yeah.
the Marvel thing of all you need is a baseball cap and some sunglasses, and you cannot
Yeah.
be seen.
Like Captain America of all fucking people. If this was Tony Stark, I could understand it. Tony's a lot smaller. Yes, he's very athletic, but you know, he has a look where you can just throw a hat and some stuff on him and he could look
He's
different.
not Baki the grappler.
Yeah, he's not.
But Chris Evans kind of is.
Chris Evans is beyond super alpha Chad,
Yeah.
bro.
So
Chris is the new Chad.
Yeah.
Like, look at all the Chris's in the MCU. You got Hemsworth, Evans, Pratt.
yeah,
Like,
because even Pratt got
Yeah,
ripped
yeah.
for
Oh, yeah.
Star Lord. It doesn't like I was like I don't think that's a character you need to get ripped for, but
nah,
sure,
he said,
do it.
fuck it.
Yeah.
Marvel, hire me so I can be ripped next.
Yeah.
My middle name's Chris, so it works.
I will say I'm a chubby gentleman.
Same.
And I love though
Guy.
when celebrities are like, all you need to do is go on this plan and you'll lose so much weight. And you're like, no, you have a personal trainer and you get paid to basically like work out all day. Yeah, if I could do that, oh, absolutely I'd lose weight. But I have a job and I have to do stuff and I don't have time for that. And the money.
Fair enough. That's why I want Marvel to hire me.
Yeah.
Let me be the new Black Panther.
Yeah, hire both of us and then I'll be the White Panther.
I'm sure. He can be the new Peter Parker, Miles Morales.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Or, well, no, because we already got Peter. So I could be, what? Miles per, what's the
Let's well
kilometers, kilograms? What the fuck do the British people use for miles?
kilometers.
Kilometers. I'm kilometers Morales, and this is meters Parker. There we go. Hire us.
Yeah, I did see that meme actually like that. We gotta do. How about there's no X-Men in this yet. How about Cable and Bishop?
Oh, I didn't know if you were waiting for me to say it because I was just going to be like Nightcrawler.
Oh, well, yeah.
I think I'm a little too tall for him,
Nightcrawler.
but like, yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fingers, nigga. Let's get it. I don't think Nightcrawler can say nigga.
Yeah. He might. I don't know.
I don't
What
know.
is-
Something about his accent doesn't scream black guy to me.
But how could you tell?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
After that, I think it was the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, which I think we've already talked at length about the
Yeah.
Guardians.
They're amazing.
The sequel movie is just as good. I genuinely
Yeah.
love it.
Like, I still think one is maybe better, but I think 2 has more heart in it. Like
I can agree with that.
I
Rocket
love
Raccoon.
yeah,
Just
and
him.
I even love the interactions between Zandu, or that's his name, right? Z- Zando, or what the hell is his name? The guy that like has the whistle thing and everything.
Uh, I want to say Zando now because you
Yeah.
said that, but I don't
But
think
like
that's right.
his
Fuck you.
interaction, like him even telling Star Lord that like, man, like yeah, he's your dad, but that doesn't make him your dad. And then basically like he's his dad, like he raised him and everything,
Yeah.
and like he loves him and stuff, and that's so cool to me. And that like he sacrifices himself for him, and then like
The
the
Ravager
jokes,
funeral.
yeah, that's pretty sick. And then like even some of the jokes are just like awesome. Like I love Drax and Mantis sitting there, and he's just
Oh,
like, "Oh, like
You're hideous."
you're hideous," and he's like, "But even people keep around like dogs that are ugly, like and stuff like pets."
I really like Rocket's growth in there.
Yeah,
I do. I everybody really just has some form of growth that I like.
yeah,
That being said, I don't like Gamora and Nebula's growth because it's like, oh, we just tried to kill each other, but now I'm trying to save. There's no. If this was like in maybe the scene at the beginning where they have Nebula captured or something, and
but like
this
she is
started-
trying to reach to her too, like there, and I feel like it's
It's
kind of
just-
like we just dealt with a ton of trauma, like
Yeah, but I just hate the fact that it's like one second ago, Gamora had literally picked up this massive gun and
Yeah.
started shooting at her ship in an attempt to kill her.
Yeah.
And now the very next scene, you're like, "Get out! I gotta
Yeah.
save you."
Yeah.
It's just, I do like the fact that Nebula immediately takes advantage to win a fight, and then that's when she's done. She's like, "I did it. I won.
yeah,
I
yeah.
proved myself. I don't need to do anything else." I
Yeah.
do like that, but God, I just didn't like the very flip floppy nature
Yeah.
of the whole thing.
I love the Mary Poppins thing. He's like, "Oh man, you look like Mary Poppins. Oh man, is he cool?" Yeah. He's cool.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. I also just love the fact that during like their final clash, Peter makes a giant Pac-Man out of the rocks.
Yeah.
I almost cried in the theaters from laughing so
Yeah.
hard at that. Also, I just noticed a trend like Groot, even baby Groot. Groot is just a violent motherfucker,
Yeah.
man. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I like the fact that baby Groot is a whole separate thing. Like it's technically Groot's child that grew from his death instead of just regular Groot regrowing at a much slower rate. Like regular Groot in baby form. Baby Groot
Well,
is
I think it's
his
still
son,
it is
technically.
Groot.
No,
but
I'm-
he's just like I think he's just kind of like having to restart because it's like
No,
even your brain would have
I
to be-
believe like the creators or somebody even said that this is technically like Groot's son. It's not.
Oh really?
It's a completely different Groot,
It's weird.
which I don't. Aside from
I do
in
feel bad for
Infinity
him when he
War,
gets like the stuff poured on him and everything.
I do too. But aside from like the scene in Infinity War where he like evaporates and they tell us that his final words to Rocket was like "Dad" or something, which that was like super. I was like, oh. Ah! But aside from that, I really don't think I like the fact that they made baby Groot different from
Yeah.
regular Groot, especially because they're both so incredibly violent
Yeah.
and adorable and stupid. They're practically the same character.
Mhm.
One's just better for selling toys.
Yeah.
Fuck, what was the one that comes after it? I want to say it was Age of Ultron next, but I could be wrong. Psych, bitch, I was right.
Which is not super great. Like it's one of those films that's like it just kind of exists. Like I didn't have that much of a love for that movie.
I like it. It's not the best, but I still thought it was a really fun movie. I had a lot of fun, and this is the movie that contends Winter Soldier because Ultron's intro is genuinely bone chilling. I loved
Yeah,
it. It was
like when he's like walking in like all crazy and
he's the busted up Iron Man Legion drone that's
Yeah.
dragging itself, talking about I have no strings
Which,
on me.
that guy is like got an amazing voice.
Oh,
Like,
his voice
he
is
just
perfect.
Kills any kind of monologue, and for having like Ultron, which he does do like monologues in the comics and stuff too, it's like perfect. Like they Marvel
could come
almost
to that voice.
always nails the casting
Yeah.
for things.
I just don't like his character as much in here. He's a lot more jokier and laid back at times than I would have liked for Ultron to be.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, especially with the "there are no strings on me" theme that he constantly brings up, I think I'd much rather liked it if, rather than having these fun little witty conversations, if he played it more like a computer who can't properly connect to human emotion.
Yeah.
So he uses, like, "there are no strings on me," maybe some other Disney fairy tale vocal lines to better portray how he's feeling. And you could have like a whole thing of subtext under that as well. But he does have great lines about like, when things get too calm, God throws a stone at the earth, and right now he's winding up. He has a lot of really cool sounding lines, and unlike The Last Jedi, there's some weight to his words.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't feel like it matches with Ultron. And maybe this is just me being like, well, because in the comics, man, he's so different. But I'm glad they tried something new. I do like Ultron still.
Yeah.
I just think he could have been better in this movie.
On down to like the fight scenes in this movie, like the end big battle is kind of bad. Like it's not like it's like all over the place kind of thing. I do like the like train whole fight thing or whatever with that like barreling through stuff. Like there's a lot of cool like stunt kind of things in this movie, but a lot of the fight stuff is kind of
I like that they give Clint some time to shine. They show off his family. They show off a lot more of him just getting to fight and stuff. But I even like him and Quicksilver. But this is where my problem comes in, is Quicksilver's sacrifice is something I hate.
Yeah.
I loved it because it is a subversion. They really do set it up that makes it look like Clint will die this movie. No more Hawkeye.
Yeah.
So when you get to the scene and you're like, Hawkeye's dead, only for Quicksilver to save him by sacrificing himself, it is very touching. I just hate the part where he's like, what? You didn't see that coming?
Yeah.
And yes, I get it. It's a callback to earlier in the film when he hits him and he's like, you didn't see that coming?
Yeah.
And I love callbacks like that. But for this, I don't know. The fact that he seems to be looking more so into the camera than at Clint.
Yeah.
It looks like he's saying it to the audience rather than Hawkeye. And it really just sucks me out of the moment because it's just like, subverted your expectations, didn't we? Gotcha.
I do like all the catching bullets memes that we get out of that thing, but
Black's been doing it first. Just going to point it out. That should probably be cut. I also just like Clint's jokes, though. I like his pep talk to Wanda. He's like, "The city's flying, and I'm with a bow and arrow. Yeah. Nothing makes sense." Bit. I also think Wanda just got really both of the twins got great character development, but one's character development required them to die, so he doesn't matter.
Maybe he'll still be alive. Who knows?
Nah, fuck that. And, they could replace him with the X-Men's version.
Yeah.
I feel like they could have done some more fun stuff. Something more fun with Quicksilver's speed.
I can't stand that kid that does Quicksilver in the other
X-Men.
movies, though. Yeah.
But would you have liked it if they would have done like the slow motion scenes for the MCU Quicksilver?
I almost hate those scenes. And especially like, oh my gosh, we got to talk about this real quick.
Run it through.
So the slow motion one in, was it Age of Apocalypse or whatever?
Yes, that's the second one.
Where he goes and like runs in and like grabs everybody and stuff to save him from like the Xavier like institute and stuff blowing up. That is literally like 5 seconds before is the death of Havoc. And then so he runs in, they play all this funny music and everything, and he gets all these people and like happy fun time. And then Scott pulls up and they're like, sorry man, your dad died. And then
wait, wasn't that his brother?
No, because I think they change it in this. That's
Do
like,
they? Because I know
I swear
the
they
comics
do
they're
something
brothers.
different.
So
Yeah, they're
I
brothers
think
in the
they're
comics,
brothers
but I
still.
feel like they did something
I'm
weird.
gonna just call them brothers because
Yeah.
that's how I am.
But they like tell him he died, and then he's just like, no. And I'm like, this is the worst tonal shift I've ever seen in a movie.
But
ever.
I don't think
you
that
just,
can be.
Like, a character died. You basically didn't give a shit. You were like, hey, here's happy fun time, and then you're like, hey, your brother died. And
Well, I don't. I mean, yes, that's the problem, but that's more of a pacing issue than like the slow motion scene, like as a whole.
I don't think they're that cool. Like, I don't.
Okay,
like,
see that's
yeah,
more
like,
valid for me.
But I mean, like, I just had to point out that is like the worst
Oh, yeah, that was
tonal
really...
shift and pacing like ever. I'm like,
why
did you do this?
I do remember being in theaters. I was laughing, but I couldn't tell if I was laughing because the scene was funny or if I was laughing because I was like, somebody important just died.
Yeah, and no one cared.
And then I was just like, okay, well, maybe they're going to be like, oh, Havoc returns later on in the movie because psych, bitch, he didn't die. No, that nigga dead. He dead.
Yeah.
But, and now I'd like to formally apologize to T.I. because I believe in our second episode of the SLP, I said that T.I. is never in any good movies because we were talking about Monster Hunter.
Oh, yeah.
I said T.I. does not feature in any good movies. I was wrong. T.I. is in Ant-Man. Ant-Man is a damn good movie.
Oh, yeah, he's the driver.
Yeah, T.I.'s in that movie.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
So I have to formally apologize. I'm sorry, T.I.
Yeah. I don't think Ant-Man's maybe like the best MCU movie,
but it's a fucking good movie.
It's like the most fun movie. Like, yes, I think like Guardians of the Galaxy is hilarious and it's amazing, but like Ant-Man is so fun. Like it's just like they wanted to make a heist movie, you did it, and then you made all these characters hilarious.
Yeah,
like, and I love like the interaction with like Pym and what is
Lang,
and it's just like it's so good. Like they just nailed it. Like I think Ant-Man and Wasp is like it's okay. But
I think a lot of people give it more hate than it deserves.
Well, I don't hate
I have
it.
to rewatch it to make sure.
I did even watch it not too long ago, and I was like, it's okay.
On the list.
It's like I said, like you can either have like a 10 or like a 1, and people will have to talk about it. But if your movie's like in the 7s or something, it probably like disappears from your mind. Like it's like
But the only thing I don't like, and Ant-Man is not the only movie guilty of this, but I think it's one of my least favorite executions on it, is the strong female support, I guess, because Hope Van Dyne's more of a support in this.
Yeah.
That does not like the protagonist and is very hostile and apathetic to them, and then comes around to being the love interest and falling in. I don't like it. I will say that, you know, with Scott Lang's basically solving the parental rift between her and her dad, Hank Pym, I will say it gives credence to their relationship forming because it does really take root after that.
It's not like he's a complete dick, like and it's not like he's not trying to like find something there. Yeah. So maybe her is more like she's pushing him away.
Oh, she definitely is pushing Scott away.
I think she understands that he cares and stuff like that. Like, he's kind of an idiot, but
I get it, but and it's not. I think this is probably one of the movies that execute it better in Marvel stands, but it was just something that when I was watching it, I was just like, God, this again. I really don't feel like dealing with it, and I don't know if maybe that speaks to movies using this way too much, and I just rewatching it this time, I just happened to be tired of it. Because honestly, I think Gamora and Star-Lord's relationship in the first movie is kind of a worse starting point for them to fall in love.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to Lang and Hope.
Well, and I think they build like a better connection throughout than they really do, but yeah. I love his friends. They're great.
I love everybody in the show.
The like jokes like almost always land. Like I don't think there's like a single issue I had with it, and especially that movie actually had like problems getting off the ground. They went through like 3 different directors and stuff like that.
Oh,
like
really?
Yeah, like it was like everyone thought maybe Ant-Man's not actually happening, and then
I mean, I could believe it. It's Ant-Man. Who the
Yeah,
fuck was
like who wants
Ant-Man
to
is
make
like the
that
Guardians
happen?
of the Galaxy, where before that movie dropped, everybody was like, who the fuck would watch this
Yeah.
movie? Why would you want to make this?
But like I ended up like I'm not even that big of a Paul Rudd fan, but I love him as Ant-Man. Like especially
Perfect.
now that we have like all these other movies with him like in like with other superheroes and stuff. Like yeah, I'm not a big fan of Civil War, but like I love that he's like a fanboy of these characters.
Oh yeah.
And that like even every single time like in like Endgame and everything, that like when he talks to like Captain America and Captain America like tells him something, he's like, "Yes, Captain America." He just like always like so like he thinks Captain America like is probably like the coolest person ever. And,
I mean, who wouldn't in
like,
that universe?
It's so great like that he's still fanboying out to like all these superheroes and everything. And
Fun fact: Paul Rudd's middle name is Chris as well, which
really,
explains why he
Another
became
Chris.
super shredded and ripped.
Yeah.
I don't know if his middle name's Chris. I just wanted to point out that Paul Rudd's another man who became beyond ripped for a role as a
For a role
superhero
that he really didn't
didn't
need
require
to.
him to
Yeah.
be super ripped.
Yeah.
I think Samuel L. Jackson is the only person that didn't become a stunning Chad.
Yeah.
Then again, he's already a Chad. He's
I say
Samuel L.
yeah,
fucking Jackson.
And he's still probably a very fit man, so it's not like he really had to.
Sam Jackson is my hero for us people without perfect washboard abs. I salute you. A motherfucking salute you. There we go. That's more of a Sam Jackson salute. Well, Civil War, but,
Yeah, but
we
we
talked
did a
about
whole
that
thing
in
on that.
another video. So, Civil War was the last one I watched, and let me make sure. Up next, I have Black. Oh no, I watched Black Panther.
Oh, nice. We can talk about Black Panther then, because you said you had plenty of things to say about Black Panther.
I don't like Black Panther.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, the acting is great.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody is a bad actor in the slightest. The CGI on the hand is fucking horrendous.
Yep.
And
I feel like it was rushed too. Like,
I hope it is, because that'd be an excuse to why it looks so fucking bad.
The one thing that like is my biggest grief with it is before I saw it, because you even told me not to see it right away because you're like, man, you're probably gonna get like shot or something. So.
Oh yeah, because the movie theaters were like, if you're white, you cannot see Black Panther.
So
this is for black people only.
When I finally saw it,
I had to sneak him in as one of my brothers.
Yeah. He called me the White Wolf, and but everyone was saying that like this is the first really good like Marvel villain, like
Loki, nigga.
Like
suck a dick.
But I mean, like that's what I'm not saying that. I'm just
I
saying.
know. I'm
this
just
is
saying.
what everyone was
Loki.
saying. They're like, he's like so amazing and stuff. And I love Michael B. Jordan.
I love that
Like
nigga.
him in Creed and everything. Like he is an amazing actor.
He was my favorite part of Fantastic Four Stick, and
Yeah.
that's a shit movie, but I still
And-
liked it just for Michael B.
But
Jordan's.
I do not understand this villain's like intentions. So his main thing is he's like, we're finally gonna like bring this to America, like get them back for what they did. But I'm like, your whole entire like life was only ruined by Wakandans.
Yeah.
Your dad was murdered by Wakandans. You were like
Abandoned.
refused your birthright by Wakandans. You like and then
You were left in this hellhole of America
And then-
by Wakandans.
and then the United States, the only thing they did was like train you to be super awesome in the military.
And then there's the sins of their past that you're like, this is why everything sucks.
But I'm like, you should just be pissed at Wakanda. Like,
I mean,
like,
to an extent, he kind of was, but it definitely isn't aimed there as much as it should be.
But I'm like, that's why he's like pulling together the armies at the end, and they're like, we're gonna like finally bring this to them and everything. I'm like, why? Like, just kill more Wakandans. They're the ones that screwed your life over.
King T'Chaka is
Yeah.
also a cunt, because this was something I bitched about when I watched the movie originally, and it was something that I rewatched, and I was like, I was right. I didn't misremember the fucking scene. King T'Chaka, the Black Panther,
Yeah.
the man in a bullet
Black
suit,
Panther.
cat suit,
Yes.
with superhuman speed, agility, and strength. His brother pulls out a gun to try to shoot Lawrence Fishburne that's younger. I can't remember his name. It's so mean and racist. He pulls out a gun to shoot his cohort. T'Chaka sweeps in, disarms him, and then kills him.
Yeah.
He did not need to deliver a
No.
fucking vital blow.
Yeah.
He did not need to kill his brother.
But,
he could have subdued him. He basically did subdue him. He
but
knocked
also,
the gun away.
Yeah. Well, the thing too, as I don't understand, is so did they not know about his son at all?
I don't know. No, I think they did because the way they're like, oh, it was something we did. But why not just take him?
Yeah.
You could just be
like you could have told him anything that his dad was sent off on some other kind of mission or something and lied to him, and maybe he'd find out.
No, you could just be like, your dad died.
Yeah.
We were called in because your dad got shot or some shit. Hide the body.
Or you could legit tell him that he betrayed you or whatever, and but we will train you in the ways of Wakanda.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But I was like, because either way, I was like, even if, because they planned on really just capturing him and taking him back.
Yes, that was the plan.
So I'm like, were they gonna still take his son back, or were they just gonna leave his son there?
Nah, fuck that nigga. He's
left
to the streets of Compton.
Oh yeah, he's just gonna be in foster care now. Screw
and
him.
I mean, he clearly had the Wakandan back lip tattoo thingy.
Yeah.
Because he shows it off when he's an adult, and there's nobody left to give it to him after he's, after his dad dies, because the only other Wakandan was a spy that leaves with King T'Chaka. So why did they even leave the Njobu? I think was the father's name. Njaku something. Why'd they leave the dad behind anyways? They stab him. He stabs him with his panther claws, and he's just like, "We're gonna leave the body." This is the brother to the king. Does he not get some type of burial rights? Something. I know he's a traitor, but
who else could have just ripped their hand into somebody's chest?
Now there's panther claws.
Yeah.
He's I found my daddy with panther claws in his body. Like, why? Why? None of that makes any fucking sense. And the excuse he gives doesn't make any sense to why he did this.
Yeah.
Like, none of this makes any fucking sense.
But let's get to the good parts of the movie.
Andy Serkis, the Claw.
I love all of basically his family and stuff. His sister's pretty great. I think his mom's pretty great. Everyone kind of has this nice little attitude to each other. And then,
I didn't really care about them. I'm not gonna lie. I just didn't care.
And then I don't know. There's also some really cool shots in it. I love the shot with when he first goes out on that mission where he's gonna take out those guys, and the guy turns his gun or with the flashlight.
Oh, you get that brief glimpse of the panther.
Yeah, and then he just comes down and just
that is.
Oh
I do like that scene, but I hate the ensuing fight scene because I get it. I think it's supposed to be the point.
Yeah, but you can't see him.
You can't see really anything. And I get it. That's supposed to be the point. But when it goes on for this long as an extended fight scene, and you can't really tell what's going on, it's horrible. It's boring. It's dumb. I don't fucking like. Also, you find out that he interrupts her mission.
Yeah.
Which could have potentially saved a lot more slaves, human trafficked people. And he does it just to be like, my father is dead and I am becoming the king tomorrow.
Yeah,
Can you
I
be
want
there?
you to be there. But
kind of selfish, really dickish. Nobody ever brings it up again either.
So what do you think about M'Baka?
I find him funny,
Yeah.
but I don't like him.
Yeah.
Mainly because he has that scene of, no, I will not help you.
Yeah.
Only to then come in and help with no excuse or reason as to why he denied them in the first place.
Unless he didn't really want to, because I think he kind of tells him that basically you're going to end up being slaves to
he does have
Black Panther or whatever, because
he's going
to force you to do it.
He does have a line where he's like, you can help me and you can be free, or you can let him come because he'll come and conquer you anyways or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's still just like, no.
Yeah.
Be gone.
Yeah.
So I will feed you to my cheddar. I was like, but why? And then he comes in later. I do like their that bata.
Yeah.
It's super cool, but y'all niggas is kind of loud.
Yeah.
Nobody goes going to turn around and be like,
should have been sneaky.
The Jabari tribe is here. Attack them as well. Also, speaking of end fight here, T'Challa rolls up in his Black Panther suit. He takes down the ship. And he's like, I never yielded. And as you can see, I have not died. I'm just like, well, first off, you're in your Black Panther suit.
Yeah.
And you've also re-ingested the heart-shaped herb, which
Yeah.
means you have the powers of the Black Panther. I'm pretty sure you've like disqualified yourself from this, so you kind of lost the right to be king. Yeah, those guys don't know it, but you kind of exiled yourself. And on the other hand, Get Out and all the other Wakandans that
Yes, it is the guy from Get Out. Yeah.
all of the other Wakandans that are under the border tribes' control, they're just like, the king who has, I guess, technically not failed the combat for the crown shit that they have set up for some reason, even though that's a horribly barbaric and idiotic thing to do. Like,
Yeah, we're not democratic or anything. We're not gonna vote people in. We're just gonna fight each other to see who becomes it.
We're technologically advanced and dark skinned, but we're still barbarians at heart. That's a great message for the fucking movie. Trying to build up black people. They're too stupid to vote somebody in. Let's just fight.
Well, and also, like,
scoff in the face of tradition.
I guess I also don't really understand the whole like protect Wakanda by like hiding it thing, because I'm like, clearly the person with the highest technology still wins every war. So
also, I
like,
just don't understand
people
how
are like, we want what you have, and then they're just be like, no.
I also just don't understand how having this metal, this like super valuable metal, takes them into being super well off. But that's more so stuff that I also blame in the comic. So
yeah,
I
because
can't
they do the same thing there.
Yeah, it's in the comic. That's a fault. So I can't throw all the blame for that in the movie. But the border tribe's like, oh, technically, T'Challa's still our king because he just said it. You know, he just said, I never yielded and I'm not dead. So the ritualistic combat thing has to go on. But they're like, no, the new king over there, King Eric, he's like, get them niggas. So like,
yeah, and then we gotta see all these dumbass looking rhinos. That is like the CG is the worst part of that movie.
I
like,
hate it.
The rhinos are horrible. That end fight scene is god awful.
I can go into that one as well because I just again, this is something a lot of Marvel movies do. A lot of comic book hero movies do it. But the hero versus like the evil version of themselves.
Yeah, where you can't tell who's actually winning what.
Yeah.
Like, man, the ultimate like person that does this is the Transformers movies. You can't tell a single thing. Like,
I was gonna say Venom, but that's like one of the ones that beats Venom.
Like, dude, like Transformers, because also like instead of just being like, hey, we could actually just make the Transformers and they would just look like bright colors and like so you can tell the difference. No,
they're all
just make
metal-y.
them all just metal so that you'll never tell who's winning a fight. Like I'm like half the time I'm still like, who the what? I don't. Product placement?
Product placement.
Dude, that's what they do all the time.
That's accurate. But I hate it in this one as well. I hate it in a lot of other movies, Venom included, and that's one of my movies that I like. But it has shitty CGI like in Venom.
Yeah.
I also just I get that T'Challa wins because he stabs him in the chest and whatever, but he's also taking advantage of the vibranium stuff. But like, Killmonger proves himself to be the better fighter during their combat for the crown. Like, Killmonger's just the better fighter.
Yeah, it's more T'Challa just knows how to use the Black Panther suits better.
Well, no, because he just used the fact that the Black Panther suit was shut down because of the vibranium press thingy. So there's what gave T'Challa, he didn't learn any like lesson that could contribute to him fighting Eric physically. You could argue, which even then it's kind of hard to argue because there's a lot of points that go against, but you could argue that he learned the philosophy, that type shit. He learned something about locking borders down and tradition, and that's why he switches at the end. But that doesn't help him in this physical battle to the death with Killmonger.
That's why it should have just been all out in the open, like even his own people like helping him win that battle or something. Like it would have made so much more sense. And you might be able to tell the difference between them since it's not like in the dark.
Yeah. And I would have liked it. Like he beats Killmonger, and then everybody like notices it. and then they stop and they kneel as he holds Killmonger's lifeless body up at the top of Pride Rock.
Yeah.
And Get Out goes, Kenya. But this is a small nitpick. This is something I just like to bring up because I find it really funny. Killmonger, he's trained in like a bunch of American mixed martial arts, gung fu, stereotypical, what's up?
Yeah.
I punch, I kick, I have cool looking moves.
Yeah.
You get to see it in the few fights he's in. But when he fights T'Challa for the second time and they're both in their dark kitty suits, there's a scene where Killmonger pounces like a cat. Full out, bodies extended like a fucking cheetah mid-pounce. And it's a cool looking move. It doesn't hit anything, but it looks cool. I'm just like, why the fuck did Killmonger do this move? This doesn't fit any type of fighting style that Killmonger should have.
Just be putting him in like weird naked chokes. And
like if that was T'Challa that did it, I would have understood because I don't know.
He's probably trained in some kind of like thing.
He should be trained in cat fight food.
Yeah.
I can list off a couple more, admittedly more minor nitpicks that I have with the film, but they killed Claw, who was the best part of this fucking film.
Well, yeah, and like, I hate like when characters just get thrown away. Like, Claw's pretty big for Black Panther lore, and like he's even deals with other Marvel characters and stuff. And for you to just be like,
dead.
He's dead now. He's just dead. Like he just got shot. Like, game over. Like I don't know. I hate when stuff like that happens.
But the scene where he kills Claw, he kills his girlfriend.
Yeah, too.
Esque character, which there's no chemistry. We barely know that they're, they don't have.
I guess maybe
together.
That's the thing is you're not supposed to see it like, oh, he's actually betraying someone big. He's more just like getting rid of this throwaway person.
They don't do a good job at it. Like if they would have,
because I feel like maybe she just helped him get into the place.
Because they have like a scene where they make out when they get into the ambulance.
Yeah, but I mean,
so
was he just using her the whole entire time? Because did she work at that museum?
No, I'm pretty sure she was like part of his crew.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. They don't give her enough screen time.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like if they would have gave her more screen time, we could have seen their relationship. And then he shoots her. You'd be like, oh, well, he might have actually loved her, but he's very goal-oriented, and she's in the way of his goals, so he got rid of her. It would have built his character, but we have so little knowledge of their relationship that it's like, oh, he just killed a person. Oops.
Yeah.
Nigga, I'd kill a person too. There's also the Korean chase scene where Black Panther's car surfs. Like, this is Saints Row fucking 3.
Yeah.
And I hate it because Black Panther is a dick. He steals somebody's car, fucks it up in the process.
Yeah. He's a foreign national. He can't get arrested for it. So
whatever. This man, Civil War proves this man can run faster than cars. So he could have just took off and captured them. Also, in that same, like, the Korean fight scene beforehand, why did he wait till he was outside to Black Panther a five?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, he does it out in public, so it's not a case of, I don't want people to know that I am the Black Panther. And then my final one, I'll cut it short because I know we might be running a little long here. But my last major problem, it's our usual. Okay. Yeah. My last major problem is when Killmonger breaks Claw out. Killmonger throws a grenade into the building. The Dark Kitty jumps on it, a la Steve Rogers. Tanks the explosion. Explosion goes off. He's just like, boom. Very small bump. Mm-hmm. Jumps up to his feet, dashes out, chases after the car. Killmonger shoots him with a grenade from a grenade launcher. The explosion knocks him back. He hits a brick wall. He falls down. And then he's like, I will not pursue. He even sees the ring that Killmonger has that states him as a prince of Wakanda or whatever. Mm-hmm. And now he should be.
Doesn't want to do
he
anything,
should be extremely curious about this now. His Claw, his main mission is escaping. The man breaking him out is now a Wakandan. So now you're like, maybe there's a fucking traitor among us. I have a brother or cousin or cousins, right? Cousins. Yeah, I have a cousin or something that's out here. I have a fucking there might be more. There's a whole new story.
Yeah.
That he should want to go. It just amplifies the reason why he would want to chase, and he just lays there. I don't remember if it's Okoyo or not, but one of them runs out and is like, "Oh, white bread. He's been hit through the spine. He's injured." But T'Challa has been sitting there watching this car or this van escape for a while before she comes out to tell him this. He had more than enough time to like get up and
then they
run.
have like 5 billion gadgets like earlier too, and they just didn't really use them in this whole entire like thing. I think they used some stuff.
Oh yeah, because she does have those weird Okoyo bees that he could just like, shut down your engine or some shit. Yeah. But no, they use it to like stabilize his spine, which I don't think that's how anything works. Not at all. Well, I'll cut my ranting and raving short there. I could do a whole Last Jedi styled video on Black Panther. In all honesty, I'm not a fan of the movie. It's not great. I love Michael B. Jordan. I love all the acting in it. Yeah. The actors are really good. I feel like if they would have dipped into the fact that Killmonger is essentially becoming what he claims he hates.
Yeah.
They could have made him a better villain, but he is not the best villain.
No.
Loki and Thanos stand leagues above him.
Yeah.
Granted, he could be like top 3 because Marvel doesn't have many very good villains. So I would place him at like very best the 3rd villain from the top of the food chain.
I don't know. I think even maybe Ultron, at least from his like whole like eradicate humanity and like
his goals make more sense
and talks and stuff like that, it just makes, I think even he would be above that. Like
I feel like you're not going to get
you're not going to get any dark elves above there.
Oh,
like I don't think Ego is really that great. Like he's fun to like
he's fun, but he's not a great as a villain. You could argue Ultron's probably 3rd, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because Ultron is very underwhelming for me that I don't want to put him there, but looking at his motives, I could definitely place him above Killmonger in that department.
Yeah.
Any other villain that you can think of?
I was trying to think of other villains top of my head. Like the prick in Ant-Man, he's not really that crazy. He's just obsessed with money.
Yeah. Like him and Obadiah Stane.
Like Red Skull could have been so much better. Like basically they just made him like Nazi Red Skull. Like Red Skull throughout other stuff he gets like more complex and everything, but I think
Nazi.
This one's just like he's a Nazi. Like it makes a good person to hate.
Yeah, fair enough. But they don't. Yeah, he's definitely nowhere near as layered.
No. All the Iron Man people aren't that amazing. Like his like they're Iron Man 1. Well, yeah, you said Obadiah or whatever.
Yeah,
he's pretty good.
He's a solid villain, but he's nothing great. Yeah, I can't think of anybody else really. Anybody that's good at least.
Yeah.
Malekith the Dark Elf is definitely the greatest villain because it comes from the greatest movie in all of history. Not even Marvel, just all of cinema.
Every bit of it.
Captain Marvel's a pretty solid villain.
Oh, like her own people?
Just her.
Oh,
whoever wrote the movie is a pretty bad villain too. They've subjected me to that bullshit talking about it connects to the Endgame movie. You gotta see it.
It was not.
They were a villain.
It's not useful.
That nigga was a villain. Yeah. I hate you.
Like you could literally rewatch the MCU and not watch that and just be like, oh, there's just another character.
I mean, if you rewatch the fucking MCU and not watch it, it makes more sense. Because God, Winter Soldier was ruined for me. Because when Nick Fury was like, oh, you gotta keep both eyes on them.
Bam.
And it's just like a cat did that.
I swear that's not like the cat doesn't even still do that in that movie because his eye still looks fine. He's like holding it and everything, but I mean like
nope, it's a cat.
It's not really a cat though.
I pray to God Black Widow retcons it. I hope Black Widow's just like, hey Nick, you got your eye still intact, and then he gets his eye shot out or something. Black Widow fucks him over and he loses his eyeball, and that's why he's like, you can't trust people.
Just takes that like wrist thing, just like
I pray to God. I pray to Allah. I pray to Zeus. I pray to Odin. I pray to Tom fucking Cruise. Just Please, Black Widow, retcon this so he doesn't lose his eye to a
Like,
fucking
do you think,
cat.
because like now we're finally getting like the newer like extra characters getting like extra movies. Like we're gonna get finally like a Doctor Strange 2, and we're gonna get like other characters, like even we're getting WandaVision and stuff. Like, do you think Captain Marvel will even get another movie?
I pray she doesn't.
Like-
And if she does, I pray we get somebody who can actually write a movie
Yeah.
so her movie's actually good.
Well, but like
Because her last one's shit.
Brie Larson is still not great as an actress, and like
You know, I struggle to judge people on their acting because I know there's a lot of instances where people are great actors and actresses, they're just not directed well.
Yeah.
And with her I only know her as Captain Marvel. I have a couple people that are like, "Oh, she's a great actress and she can act in all these other movies." I'm like, "Well, none of those movies sound like anything
Yeah.
I'd be interested in, so I'm not going to watch them." But
Like,
I don't want to say
Kristen
she's a bad
Stewart,
actress.
you can easily say she's a bad actress. Like, she has no emotions in every single movie she's ever been in.
I haven't watched any. I don't think I've watched anything she's been in. I know she's from Twilight, but
Yeah.
I haven't watched Twilight because
I've
I'm not
only
that
watched
much of a
like
masochist.
maybe 15 minutes of Twilight movies, and I've seen like little bits of every single one. I just refuse to watch them. But I've seen her in like a bunch of different stuff. Like, her probably best performance was like a movie she was in as like a child. It was like a horror movie.
I thought she was gonna say like Willy Wonka.
All right, well, guess this will do it. And I think also maybe sometime next month I want to do like favorite holiday movies, just because we already did like horror movies. Maybe do like
Okay.
not just Christmas, but I like
Good, because I hate Christmas.
like Trains, Planes, and Automobiles is like more of like a Thanksgiving movie and everything.
Never
like,
heard of it.
You've never seen Trains, Planes, and Automobiles?
Nope.
If you could do me a favor, watch Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. It's a great movie.
I'm more of a bicycle guy. I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, bicycles hurt my ass. I'm
But-
an automobile person.
But my name is Andy Stoke, and
I'm Joker J.
and this has been Seriousness Podcast. All right, bye.